Gardens really can be a haven for wildlife, with birds flying in from neighbouring gardens, insects coming in to pollinate the fruit trees and feed from the flowers, butterflies bringing our garden to life during the summer. There are lots of different things we can do to enrich the wildlife value of our garden. Something you can do is find a spot to build a log pile. And the value of having a log pile, perhaps at the back of a border, any odd corner, anywhere you can find a space, is that this creates a little mini habitat, a sanctuary where frogs and toads and beetles and other creatures can crawl into, find sanctuary during the day and then come out at night and feed on the bugs and other things around your garden. So if you've got frogs and toads in your garden, you know that you've got a natural predator that's going to be eating slugs and snails. Whenever I prune a shrub, I just add the bits of material to the log pile, and over time the material itself will rot down and deteriorate, and all the bugs and creatures which have been feeding on this in turn provide food for other creatures around your garden, creating a little mini microsystem at the back of one of the borders in your own garden. It's lovely attracting birds into our garden. They provide a valuable role in eating garden pests. But during the winter, when there aren't the natural fruits and berries and pests around, it's important to provide some extra food for them. And there's lots of different ways in which we can feed our garden birds. You can feed them all year round, and if you put a feeding station, maybe with some peanuts or some bird seed in them, somewhere you can view from the house, then position a feeding station there, but make sure that it's somewhere safe, somewhere where there aren't going to be perhaps neighbouring cats lurking around that could pose a danger to the birds themselves. Chop these up with some seed, some peanuts, or even the other sort of food you can get is these suet fat balls which are impregnated with seeds, and they give a good high energy source, particularly good for feeding birds in winter. Get these up somewhere safe in the garden. Some of the birds can come into and feed. This particular feeder has also got a dome on it to stop squirrels jumping up and getting onto the feeders themselves. And as the birds are feeding, they'll be dropping little bits of food down onto the ground. So if the feeders are attracting in the greenfinches and the long-tailed tits and the blue tits and other things, then on the ground below, you'll find robins and blackbirds and some of the other ground feeders mopping up all the food that's sitting on the ground. So creating a station like this, even in a very small space, brings birds into your garden and really does bring your garden alive. Bug boxes are a great way of creating a little mini habitat in your garden. This is one I made out of some old offcuts of wood, and I've got some canes and also some bits of timber which I've drilled holes in, but the hollow centres of the canes will allow the mason bees, the solitary bees, or even the leafcutter bees to crawl in and lay their eggs. When I put one up in my garden, I found leafcutter bees taking little circles of leaves and then going in and laying their eggs inside. So a bug box like this is a habitat for all sorts of little creatures and spiders and other things around the garden. You can make your own out of old offcuts or buy one of these in store. And for birds themselves, they need water to bathe and to drink. Some people might have ponds and water features. If you haven't, just a simple source like this, kept topped up with water, provides a perfect drink for garden birds. Birds can also be encouraged to nest in our gardens. So whether you've got evergreen shrubs or a wall covered with ivy, you can find that could be the perfect habitat for blackbirds and thrushes to create a nest. Or buy yourself a little bird nesting box like this one. This is perfect for blue tits. And find a cool, shaded, north-facing site that you can put the bird box up, or shed, an archway, even a tree in your garden. And if you can get blue tits nesting in this bird box, remember that one little blue tit chick will need to be fed up to 100 caterpillars a day. And if you've got a nest of 10 chicks in there, that's 1,000 caterpillars that the blue tits are finding around the garden, controlling pests naturally to feed their young. So by bringing in birds, helping them to nest, feeding them, putting bug boxes in the garden, creating little mini habitats around your garden and enriching it with flowers for bees and butterflies and berrying plants and shrubs for birds, you really can make sure that your garden is a safe sanctuary for the wildlife to come and live in and for you to enjoy.